Today we're going to work on making your Scratch project. You do not need an account. Let me repeat, you do not need an account to do this. We've been working all week on managing files and naming them. You're going to go to scratch.mit.edu and you're going to click the Create button. And I have my resources ready to go up here. This is an older version of the note-taking sheet. Right now I am going to focus on Sybil Luddington, and here's the new version. Similar information right here. All have the keywords, the link to where I found the information, and the fact that I thought was interesting. I've also made a note here of the background image I would like to use, and I've done that for all three of my facts. And on the next page, these are links to the images that I choose to use. So let's go find some of those backgrounds. So I also have a PNG file that I made that I'm going to add, but before I do that, note, we don't have any motion blocks, and we have very limited options for our looks blocks. I do not have my sprite selected, but the backdrops are selected. So once I click on my sprite, I'm going to count down, you'll see the blocks change. 3, 2, 1. Completely different sets of options because I'm using a different part of the program. So every time you start a project, you're going to want to initialize, right? Or figure out what your beginning pieces look like. Now I know I do not want my sprite to appear randomly anywhere. So one thing I need to do is figure out where my sprite is going to go. But I'm going to go ahead and add my avatar that I created, who will be my narrator, or could be Sybil Luddington. And I'm going to get rid of Scratch Cat. I'm just going to make my character a wee bit smaller. So I also need to position my character. I don't want her right in front of the statue. Notice right now my sprite, because it's selected, is at x24, y negative 50. If I move my sprite, it changes to x146, negative 155. Depending on where I put it, my xy coordinates for the item I've selected adjust. I might not want her whole body. She looks like she's floating in air here. So I'm just going to move her down off the screen. And I also want you to notice that as I do move her here, and these adjust to 186 and negative 41, when I'm on my motion blocks, they also adjust to that location. So I need to tell Scratch, this is where I want my avatar, my sprite, my narrator to start. And I also want for her not to appear, I'm going to go into my looks blocks and I'm going to need the show and hide. So I'm going to bring them both out. But I'm going to hide my sprite before I send her to this location and show her again. The other thing I need to make sure is that this is the background that appears. Right now I have 3 different backgrounds. I want to make sure this is the one I start with. This is also under looks. And I want the switch backdrop to. Before anything else happens, I want my backdrop to appear. I want my sprite to hide. Then I want my sprite to go to this location and show up. So let's just switch backdrops for a minute, just to test this and see how it works. So and remember, now I'm on the backdrop, so my code is different with different options. I'm going to click back on my avatar, and if this code truly works, when I click on it, it should go to the statue of Sybil Luddington, my sprite will hide, go to this location, and I'm going to move my sprite out of the way so you can see this happen actually. And this is why I want it to hide first, because I don't want it to randomly pop up in an area before it goes to this location. So let's watch. It all happens really quickly behind the scenes. So now the only other thing I need is my message. Well, that's another looks block. I'm looking for the say something for 2 seconds. I'm just going to go back and check my notes. here I'm talking about how Sybil Luddington was honored by the Postal Service in 1975. It's a good idea to put your notes in here and spell check them before you put them into Scratch. Now this is taken verbatim. I know because it's in quotes. I must have copied and pasted it, but I do like this fact. So I'm going to take this fact, because I only need one, and I'm going to go back to my Scratch project, and in here I'm going to paste that fact. It's missing a period. I do want to make sure I include the period, and it's probably going to take more than 2 seconds to read this, but let's test it. That was a little too fast for me, so I'm going to try 4 seconds. That seems to me to be enough time, but I'm going to add 1 more second just to be safe. Some people read really fast, some people don't. And this is the start of my project. So after Sybil says what she needs to, I'm going to make it pause for 1 more second, and then I'm going to make her hide again because I need to switch backdrops. And all of this here, I'm going to right click and duplicate, attach it to the bottom. I'm going to choose a new picture. I'm going to go with her first name. I don't know if I want her to stand here, but that actually might be a good spot. So maybe I'll leave her at 186 and 14. I definitely need a new message. This one is about the popularity of the name Sybil. Again, I'm going to go back and look at my notes. Ranked 282 out of 100 of the top 1,000. So those are my notes, which you'll clearly see on the map. I'm going to copy that. It's spell checked. Come into my Scratch project, type in that fact. 5 seconds is probably enough. Let's test this and see how it looks. So far it's looking good. All right, my last one is about Luddington, England. So again, from here, I'm going to right-click on switch the second backdrop to duplicate. I don't need the whole thing. Drag it and click it and let it go into place. This time I want my map of the church in Luddington, England. So let's just go and switch that backdrop so I can figure out exactly where I want Sybil to be. This time, I think I'm going to show Sybil here so I can see her. I'm going to move her, and maybe I'm going to go into costumes. Maybe I want to flip her. Actually, I'm going to duplicate my character, and I'm going to make this one flip so it's facing the other direction. Now, I'm going to make her even smaller. I want to make it look like Sybil is over here, closer to the church. And notice my XY has changed. I need to tell Scratch when I switch the church to move her to this new location. And I found that location just by moving her around. The name Luddington comes from a group of people in Luddington, it's spelled differently, Luddington, England. So my first fact again was about Sybil Luddington. My second fact was about the name Sybil and its popularity. And my third fact is about the last name Luddington. So let's see how this looks. So everything looks good. I hope you noticed that when I switched her to the other costume, it automatically made it that way for all of my backdrops. Up here, before I show my character, I need to change my costume. So when I initialize, when I get it started, I want my avatar to have their hand facing that way. So this is my avatar. I can rename them left and right if I want to, but I'm going to go in and I want to make sure it starts as my avatar and it doesn't change to the second character until we get to the last scene. So I'm going to bring this into my last scene. I can put a hat on top here so that when I click the green flag, it just works. So let me go and find my event block. I'm going to use my hat. I'm going to make the screen big, and I'm going to test it again. Hopefully it's done. Oh, I can already see she's way too small. So that tells me, again at the beginning, I need to change the way she looks. So what do I need? I need to set her to, I think I set her at 80%. So I'm going to drag this block in, and I'm going to make this 80%. And let's hope that I got it right this time. That's the beauty of coding. You just keep trying. There we go. You think everything's right, you test it. If something doesn't work, you figure out what it is, and you fix it. Thanks for watching. Good luck with your project. Stay tuned for other helpful videos.